days, so I finally had a comeback. Okay, so this guy who's been advocating for illegal immigrants that we've been having discussions about. How the fuck did those two cars pop up? Anyways, so this guy, alright, so what he said to me was, and I haven't had anything to say back for a few days until I finally figured out what to say back. If anyone knows anything else I could say back, too, that can add in, because it took me like 3-4 days to get this comeback on him. Alright, so what his argument was, okay, well, what about all the immigrants that get paid that work and they send money back to their country, but they still pay taxes, they pay Social Security, they pay all that, and they legally work. So that's his argument, all right? And I had nothing to say back to that for several days now. And I was like, God damn, man, there's got to be some way to come back at that. So today, I was like, all right, so here. What about this? Okay, so you're saying they contribute to society by paying taxes, and they don't get it back when they retire because they're illegally here. So today I told them, he got so mad he got up and said, I'm not going to talk about that. Then he came back and talked, but he got pissed off when I said it. I was like, so you're telling me that immigrants are contributing to society because the legal immigrants, not the legal ones that came here legally, the illegal ones. So what I said back to him was, well, what about for the last 4 years? They've costed us more money than they paid into taxes. That's when he got all pissed off. And I was like, and besides that, what about the kids? So you say you have an immigrant that comes here. They come here to have a baby, so their baby's a citizen, but they're not. So in that situation too, I told them, all you're doing is hurting the kid. You're harming the kid by either A, making that kid either be A, separated from their parent and get put into DCFS, or B, they got to go back home, and then you just put that kid on a whole hell of a trip to go through ICE for nothing and make that kid experience ICE for no damn reason at all. But then he came back and talked after I said that comeback. But it was a good comeback. And if you're wondering why I'm up right now, it's because I fell asleep at like 6 p.m. And I just slept at multiple times. I was tired. And some Jag-Off just threw. I went to go buy some milk right now. That's some fucking Jag-Off threw. No, not that gallon. That was the other gallon. But I got the other gallon. That's a half gallon. But the other gallon, I come back out and click my door. I'm like, this son of a bitch threw up on my fucking door. Right on the fucking handle. It's fine, man. I was trying to figure out who that was, man. I wish I found that motherfucker. I'd have punched him in the face. I had my back turned for like 3 seconds. That shows you what can happen in 3 seconds, man. I got puke on my fucking driver's door handle that I can't even fucking clean off because it's fucking 15 degrees outside. I went back in. I'm like, hey, can I get some spray, some shit? And hey, that's my karma. Hey, they were wearing masks inside there, and I'm like, the worker sweeping the floor was wearing a mask, and so was the other person wearing the mask was the worker at the counter. I'm like, it was a Speedway when I went in to get this milk. So I asked, I was like, hey, I got a question for you. Like, is Speedway making you all wear masks again or something? I thought we were all past that thing. That was funny, because I just thought about this. So she's like, no, we're just wearing them because there's some kind of bug going around. Everybody's getting sick in here. And then I walk out and I say, son of a bitch, there's fucking... And then I tell the worker, I'm like, it's good to get sick once in a while. It keeps your immune system strong. And they're like, yeah, it is good, but she still wore the mask. And so is the other guy. They got them little stupid fucking black masks on. I thought they were Antifa for a minute. I was gonna say to both of them, I was gonna say, are you guys Antifa? Why are you wearing black masks? Are you guys trying to be like Antifa or some shit? I felt like they were Antifa. They probably are Antifa. Oh, by the way, Antifa's coming back, I'm sure. But yeah, fucking, I went back in and I was like, I guess you are right. There's a bug going around in this gas station. I got fucking puke on my doorknob. Can I get some spray and a rag to clean that shit off? I got puke on my door. I clean that shit off. I can't open my car door. There's puke on the handle. It's still on there. That shit's 15 degrees out. It was frozen. I tried wiping it off. I'm like, son of a bitch, I can't even wipe this fucking puke off my fucking doorknob because fucking it's frozen on there. And there's not even a car wash. Is there a car wash anywhere open? Let me see. I'm gonna wash that shit off, man, because I don't even want to park this stuff because I gotta deal with this shit in the morning. Fucking puke on my door. He got so mad when I said that, though. I'm like, for the last 4 years, the illegal immigrants have not contributed because they've costed us more money than they paid in taxes by housing all of them, feeding all of them, like on Elston Avenue, that place I was going, any of them, all those places. They costed us more money than they paid in taxes, and that's when he got all pissed off and fucking... But then he came back and talked calmly. After he got all pissed off, though, he got all pissed off and stood up and he actually stood up. He's like, I'm not going to talk about anything. He got all pissed off, and then he came back to talk. And then we had a civilized discussion after that. We had a nice little civilized discussion. Oh, by the way, it's been 1 month since this guy's been president, and he's done a lot. I gotta see if I can find a car wash.
What a month, and what a sea change in our foreign policy. In addition to what we're doing on the border and restoring American sovereignty, in addition to what we're doing in our economy and the job creation and the inflation reduction, we are bringing the world back to where it was at the end of President Trump's first term, which is a world of peace, prosperity, and looking forward and getting us out of the chaos that we've just seen over the last 4 years. So over the last month, just to name a few, I had the honor of sitting in the Oval Office as President Trump spoke with President Putin, and then immediately spoke with President Zelensky, and both of them said only President Trump could bring both sides to the table, and only President Trump could stop the horrific fighting that has been going on now for the better part of 4 years, and that only President
Beige 24. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. Hold on.
That and back.
I gotta pause that. All right, if anybody sees a beige 2017 Ford Escape license plate D like donkey, K like Kong, 97105, call 911. They abducted a kid. So if you see a beige 2017 Ford Escape, they got a child abducted. Continuing on.
Back calls. And of course, we just had our historic talks mediated by our good friends and partners, Saudi Arabia. We give great thanks to Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman for hosting, and sat down for the first time in years with the Russians and talked about a path forward with peace. On top of that, and one of the things that led to that was the tremendous confidence building measure that we had with the release of Mark Fogel. I'll remind everyone, the last time that we had an American released from the Russians, either we gave a deadly spy, pressured our allies to give up a lethal killer, or we released under the Biden administration the world's most notorious arms dealer, Victor Bout, who, by the way, had one of his main clients for arms, the cartels in Mexico and Central America. We gave up none of that. This was released as a confidence building measure, working with our great Middle East envoy, Steve Witkoff, and our Secretary of State as a first step towards opening these talks and then moving forward towards peace. On top of that, we've secured, just in a month, the return of 12 American hostages from Russia, from Bulgaria, from Venezuela, the Taliban, and Hamas. Excuse me, that's from Belarus, not Bulgaria. We also had
my wife has been nothing but a champion in my corner. So when I found out I had ED, I couldn't get treatment fast enough. Roman gave me peace of mind.
for the first time in quite some time, we took out a senior leader of ISIS, an international financier and recruiter that the military had been trying to take out for quite some time, and wasn't able to do so, frankly, because of a bureaucratic approval process. President Trump said, take him out.
I got a feeling that was an Antifa member that fucking puked on my doorknob.
And that ISIS financier and leader is no longer on this earth. We've also taken action to eliminate other terrorist organizations in the Middle East. We drove, before the president was even in office, he started talking consequences for people that would hold Americans. Heretofore, there's been nothing but upside. You take an American, you get some better deal. You take another one, maybe you get a better deal. No more. There's now nothing but downside for taking Americans illegally, either as hostages or illegal detainees. And when President Trump sent a very clear message across the Middle East, but particularly to Hamas, that there would be all hell to pay, we suddenly saw a breakthrough. And now we just saw the release of yet another group. Have been dozens now, including 2 Americans that we've seen once again reunited with their families. As part of the talks with King Abdullah, he offered, and I think the entire world has graciously accepted, to take 2,000 sick children, cancer patients, and others out of Gaza as a humanitarian gesture. 2,000 Gazans will come out of that hellhole that it is, that wasteland that Gaza is right now, with unexploded ordnance, with debris everywhere, with no sewage, with no water. And President Trump has put forward a plan to deal with the practical reality that is 1.8 million Gazans now truly suffering. And then, just to bring it back to our own hemisphere, we've seen literally in the last month, after years
I get sick
of
now. I know
national
who did
security
it.
experts, the generals in charge, and
out my
others,
window, man.
testifying and ringing the alarm bells about the Chinese Communist Party's presence in our own hemisphere, particularly in the Panama Canal. We're seeing the leadership of Panama step away from the Belt and Road program, move away from China and back towards the United States, and even enter into talks and other negotiations about addressing the ports on either side of the canal. And then finally, last but not least, we've had 4 world leaders in the White House, in the Oval Office. We've had the Prime Minister of Japan, the Prime Minister of India, the King of Jordan, and of course the Prime Minister of Israel. Just in the last 4 weeks, and next week we'll have the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, and we'll have the President of France, Macron.
They got good
so
milk.
President Trump is on what we call Trump warp speed. We are all honored to be really serving under his leadership and his vision. And truly, when we all say, and the president himself says he is a president of peace. He is a president focused on restoring stability. I think the entire world saw what the world will look
Majority
like
of it's on the
without strong
doorknob.
American leadership in the last 4 years. And it's truly been an honor to get us back to where we were and back on track under President Trump's leadership.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. I'm sure you're very eager to ask questions of these very smart people working very hard on behalf of the president. We do have somebody in our new media seat today. We have John Stoll, who is the head of news at X. As you all know, you're all on X. It's home to hundreds of millions of users, a large contingent of independent journalists and news organizations across geographies and political spectrums. And at the same time, X remains the go-to platform for many legacy news outlets. And I know, as I mentioned, many of the reporters in this room use X to attract eyeballs to your work. Prior to joining
this
X,
was good.
Don't do anything rash, Miss Parker.
Greetings. Welcome back to Common Sense News. After the unprecedented sweeping pardon by Joe Biden on his crackhead son Hunter, Common Sense News shares a banned report from the vault. We expose some of the illegal activity of the Biden crime syndicate and the hypocrisy and lies that have been on display during the entire pathetic Biden administration. Let's take a look.
No, I don't think it should be mandatory. I wouldn't demand to be mandatory, but I would do everything in my power. Just like I don't think masks have to be made mandatory nationwide.
A little later,
I'm announcing tonight
President Biden laying out a new plan to combat COVID-19 in an effort to stem the wave of infections driven by the highly contagious Delta variant.
this is not about freedom or personal choice.
that's a lie.
Liar.
He's a liar. The demon is a liar.
The demon is a liar.
There's testimony now where one of your son's former business associates is claiming that you were on speakerphone a lot with them talking business. Is that what?
Never talk business in. And I knew you'd have a lousy question.
Well, why is that a lousy question?
Because it's not true.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Joe
you.
Biden for bribery, for extortion, obstruction of justice, fraud, financial involvement in drugs and prostitution, all of these things. You just touched on the highlights of some of those, but we have all the facts and evidence now.
With all of that money flowing into what I think can fairly be described as the Biden family syndicate, is this a president who is now so compromised? Has he sold
I wonder if
out
I got any more
America
COVID-19
to
rats.
a foreign adversary?
Selling us out to China, playing like China is mad enough. They've been borrowing money from the Chinese to buy oil from the Saudis. We like big SUVs. We trying to save our oil and gas reserve for whatever reason. So rather than us tapping into our Fort Knox gold supply and all the resources we got in the land, we doing stupid borrowing money from Chinese, sending billions and trillions of dollars to Ukraine and buying oil from Saudi, and we got oil right here. Why the f would they shut down the Keystone Pipeline? Now all the countries come together and say we for
I agree.
Man,
Unless you hate America, that's why you shut it
nobody
down.
else see what lunacy is going on right now? There's no other way to explain it.
I believe we have a compromised president. I believe he is so petrified of China because they know how much money has been given to him, and they know where it is. They found, as of today, I think $32 million that went into his accounts and the various accounts of the family. That's a tremendous amount of money.
God damn.
China has paid him a fortune. I've never seen anybody so weak on China. China's eating our lunch. They're taking over Cuba. They're taking over South America. They're taking over everything. This all happened over the last 3 years. China and Russia. It's very sad. I think it's the weakest our country has ever been. And I do think we have a Manchurian candidate.
Did you know China's been buying up all of our farmland around our military bases too? Trump, you need to get on that. Get them fucking Chinese ownership of our farmland out of our fucking country.
President who's a Manchurian candidate. This is a president who's fully compromised. He's so afraid of China, and the reason he's afraid is because I believe they paid him a tremendous amount of money, and he doesn't want people to find out about it.
He would wire the money through various shell companies, and then once he got the money to the end of the shell companies, then he would launder it into his own bank accounts or in the bank accounts of family members. That's called money laundering.
I'm down by the river
he's
now, so I
violated
gotta
the
take
Foreign
a nap.
Agent Registration Act.
So we're gonna
He's
be
committed
ending
money
this
laundering,
soon.
and 6 major banks in the United
I'm in a
States
car
have
down by the
dozens
river.
and dozens of suspicious activity reports filed with the Treasury that indicated they felt like the vice president's son was money laundering.
Hunter Biden was texting with his sister saying, essentially, I have to give 50% of my income to dad, to the vice president. And that is a meaningful piece of information, a piece of evidence in this overall scheme.
And Hunter's in the basement with a silver spoon. Drugs and drugs, we're gonna be there soon. When you're coming home, Dad, I don't know when. I'll be good and high by then, Dad. Yeah, I'll be good and high by then.
And there's more breaking news just coming into CNN right now. The special counsel, David Weiss, intends to seek an indictment against Hunter Biden relating to gun charges by the end of the month. That according to a new court filing.
No.
presidential promise to put the law before family.
I said I abide by the jury decision. I will do that, and I will not pardon him.
Hunter Biden was found guilty, and Joe Biden has very clearly said he would not pardon his son, he would not commute his sentence.
Could have ordered the Justice Department
What
to halt
the fuck is that thing?
Hunter Biden, according to this court. Everyone understands he's a decent man.
That he's ruled out pardoning his own son.
Is that how all black women are?
From Donald Trump. And again, we have to underline, in no uncertain terms, President Biden saying, I will accept the outcome. I will accept what the jury decides here. That's the way our legal system works. And no, I will not pardon my own son if he is convicted.
It's still a no. It will be a no. It is a no, and I don't have anything else.
I hated that bitch. I'm so happy she's gone.
Will you accept the jury's outcome, their verdict, no matter what it is?
Yes.
And
Liar.
have you a pardon for your son?
Yes.
You have.
What they've done is use the FBI and they've used the Department of Injustice to go after their political opponent, and it has never been done in this country. And people say, am I going to do that? And the answer is no, I don't want to do that. It's so bad for the country. The precedent they've set is so bad for our country.
I agree.
But I could have done it with Hillary, and certainly you do it with Hunter or whatever, but I don't want to do it with Hunter either. And I'll bet you the father probably pardons him.
He was right.
The President of the United States has so much respect for the law that he has said he would not pardon his son. President Biden has issued a full and unconditional pardon for his son, Hunter.
Are you kidding me?
As we leave, let's take a look at Chuck Schumer as the lying turd squirms and tries to wiggle his way out of answering a question that will surely have the Democrat Party in shambles for years to come.
Questions? Yes. Well, I got nothing for you on that.
Who is that old fucking crook?
As I said, I got
Chuck
nothing for you
Schumer.
on that. Nope.
Hey, I think they need to dodge him.
Thank you. I've got nothing for you on that. Fuck you.
Like, subscribe, share, thumbs up, yo.
Common Sense News. Such a tremendous channel.